Hey friends, Tasha here, and today we're going to talk about how to find a builder. About maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, we sent out an email to everyone on our email list, and we said if we could wave a magic wand and improve one thing in your business, what would it be? And the most common response was finding a builder. So today what we're going to do is I want to encourage you to have a little bit of a shift in thinking, and then I'm going to give you some specific things that you can do to answer this question of finding a builder. Now, instead of looking first at what you need to do, what you need to change, what your issues are, what you need to say, what other people are doing, we need to take a step back and think about this builder that you want to find and what's going on in their life and what are the reasons that they want to build a network marketing business, and really take a step back and think about our recruiting process really from their perspective instead of from our perspective. Most people don't start really looking at recruiting until they look at some bubbles on their chart and they're like, I need to go find a builder. I need to go find a builder. And then recruiting becomes something that is so much more for them than it is for the other person. And what I want to remind you is that you are not a boss looking for a bunch of employees. You are an entrepreneur looking to enlist other entrepreneurs in your cause. And so you have to take a step back and think, okay, well, why would someone decide to build a network marketing business? And there's so many different stages, and I'm not going to get too in the weeds about that. But here are a few common reasons people decide to build a network marketing business. Number one, they have a product transformation and they can't not talk about it. Number two, they want to pay for the products that they're like, maybe it wasn't necessarily in their budget, so they're going to do a little work to work off their products. Again, that comes from product conviction. The third reason is supplemental income. I remember one of my first clients, she just wanted to be able to buy organic fruits and vegetables for her family. And, so she wanted to earn the money to be able to do that. She ended up becoming a six-figure earner over time. The fourth reason, seems like fun. My friends are doing it. Let's check it out. Let's see if I like it. And number five, they believe they can make a difference in their life and in a lot of other people's lives. They're looking for work that is impactful. Now, rarely do people decide to build any business, let alone a network marketing business, because it's easy, because it's the path of least resistance. There are areas of network marketing that provide less resistance. Like for me, as a coach, I have to develop the product, right? Figure out if people even want the product. The product is me. That's a mind. It messes with your head. So all the product development, customer service, distribution, what the market wants, stuff like that. That's all sorted for you, which means there's less resistance, but it's still ultimately marketing and sales and leadership, right? So I want you to just make sure that as you're thinking about finding a builder, remember the reasons that other people want to build first before you start, building your strategy. The next thing that I want you to think about is, what do you even mean when you say a builder? Most people say, there's a flag, can you see that? It's going to drive me crazy. Most people say something like, well, I want someone who will work as hard as I do. Well, you might want an employee, not an independent contractor. So that may not work. And you can desire that. But there's a few things that I want to make sure you understand. A business builder, the way I would define that is someone who's committed, serious, skilled, and they want to earn a significant income. They want to invest in their professional development. They know it's going to take multiple roles and time and hard work. And, they want to make, it's a high priority. It's one of the top 3 priorities in their life. Now, there's also the casual networkers, the casual network marketers, the casual team members, and they do build sort of. They might launch, they might host events, they might come to events. They share with their friends and family, but they aren't necessarily going to make sacrifices, nor are they going to do things like set goals, do profit and loss, track numbers, um, invest in their skill development, things like that. And it's really, really helpful for you to know the difference between what you want and what you have and who they are, and make sure you're always on the same page. Now, here's a truth about network marketing. If you want to find a builder, they will emerge from your group of casual networkers. There's some stats when I was at a conference so that 85% of your team, your builders, your distributors, are going to make $500 or less. So it'd be casual. It's going to be supplemental income. And I think a lot of people feel like if they don't have someone who is in it to win it very early on, although that definitely is a goal, there's something wrong with them, and that's not true. My recommendation would be able to build as many people of various commitment levels, and you'll see people will pop up. So instead of looking for one unicorn, gather as many horses as you can, and one will start running a little bit faster. The more horses you have, the more likely it is that you'll find someone in there that's going to start moving. And I think it's really important to stop judging people based on your effort. That's not really fair to them. And it certainly isn't fair to you either, because it doesn't really create the right emotions when it comes to recruiting. Okay, so hopefully those mindset shifts, like looking at things from their perspective, that is helpful. Now let's talk a little bit about you. And I really have one big important question for you. You want to find a builder. How many recruiting conversations, how many appointments have you had where you go over someone else's goal, what their goals are, and how the business works and how to get paid and what they would do? How many of those have you done in the past month? Now, whenever I ask this question, I asked this in a recruiting coaching call inside of our membership last week. And there were not very many numbers that came up when I asked people to show me with their hands. The ones that had been having recruiting conversations had been finding builders or even casual networkers. So that's the first question, is we need to start doing the activities that create builders. Now, if you haven't had a recruiting conversation in the past month, my next question is, how many people have you invited? Next month, I'll be turning 40. It's my birthday, and I don't actually know what we're going to do about a party. I think we probably would have done something pretty big had it not been for coronavirus. So I have no clue what we're going to do, but let's assume that wasn't the case and I was going to have a party, a big one. Well, would you come if I didn't invite you? And that seems like a no-brainer question, but people are not likely to come to things they are not invited to. So if I want to have coffee or a glass of wine or a meal with a friend, the easiest way to have a chance at doing that would be to say, hey, would you like to have coffee? Would you like to have a glass of wine? Would you like to have dinner? Would you like to go to the movies? Whatever it is, right? That's the easiest way to have a shot. Now, you could wait for them to come to you, but they might be busy. They might think you might not want to. You have so little control if you're not at least making an invitation. And so what I want you to do is, here's my challenge for you, is to simply invite 3 to 5 people to a recruiting conversation. And now your question is, well, Tasha, what do you want me to say? That feels weird. Okay, so I'm going to line out some steps for you. Number 1, make a list of 10 people you've chatted with in the past 2 months that you haven't invited, that you probably should have invited, to learn about how to earn money with your company. These can be new customers, these can be previous customers, or just people that you come across with that you think they would enjoy it, they would like it. Second, reach out and tell people the truth. So what's the truth. I was thinking about you today and I wanted to ask you a question. As you know, I've been working with blank company are on my blank business, it occurred to me that I forgot to ask you, would you also like to learn how to earn supplemental income with blank company? I'd be glad to explain how that works. Would that be helpful? Just tell them the truth. Ask them if that would be helpful. Now, for a lot of people, the wording really trips them up. So I wanted to make sure that I gave you some wording so you could invite people. And if you invite 3 to 5 people, smile without judgment, with a little bit of enthusiasm, I think you'll be able to schedule at least one appointment and you'll be off to a good start. If you haven't been doing recruiting conversations, let's get 1 before we get 2, before we get 3, before we get 4, and really get some good momentum. Now, if they say yes, go ahead and set up an appointment with them to go over that. If they say no thanks, not interested, any sort of response that is other than, yes, that sounds amazing, here's how I want you to respond, because I don't want this to keep you from inviting people. No problem. This is what you respond with. No problem. If anything changes for you, you know where to find me. And I also might check in with you again from time to time, just because I know things change with people. Is that all right? And they'll typically say, sure, that's no problem, because that is a fair deal. So just a quick recap for you. If you don't know where to start to find a builder, and of course, leaders, you could share this video or podcast with your team as well. Number 1, remember that people decide for their reasons and timing, not for yours. Number 2, make a list of 10 people you have forgotten or neglected to invite to a recruiting conversation. Number 3, reach out and invite them to a conversation. See what happens. Get in the game, and then you can reflect and review. Now, if you aren't sure, so let's say you're like, all right, Tasha, I can do that, but what on earth do I say in that call? Oh, I just dropped my notebook. And you heard it like a clang? It's because it's an electronic notebook. It's really cool. If you aren't sure how to do that and you're thinking, okay, well, then what do? I get a conversation. Now what? I don't have time to go into that on this podcast, but we do have a whole recruiting section in our membership, the Emerge Surge. And so if you are not already an Emerge Surge member, it's only $47 a month. And my question for you is this: if you were able to, follow 3 or 4 videos, write out a recruiting conversation, and schedule 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? However many you want. And you had an outline that had been proven to be effective, would that be worth your $47? And if you think that the answer is yes, I want to invite you to join us. You can go straight to the recruiting section if that's important to you. And you can join us or learn more at emergeSalesTraining.com/emerge surge for some more detail around upping your recruiting efforts and all that. So hopefully that was helpful for you. I'm so glad that you're watching this video or listening to this podcast. And if you guys need anything, let us know. We're here to help. And I hope you have an awesome day.